Throughout the annals of how empires fall, we often hear echoes of artillery blasts, the tramp of armies, or the whistle of projectiles. Yet in the 1800s, the mightiest realm in the Middle East crumbled not under warriors' might, but through the calculations of financiers. It was subdued not by explosives, but by accruing debt. This narrative reveals the inaugural debt snare of the contemporary era. It's the account of how the Ottoman Empire, a colossus that had instilled fear in Europe for ages, was gradually strangled by the financial institutions of London and Paris. It's a warning that resonates strongly today, illustrating a harsh reality of international politics. Conquering a nation doesn't require occupation. You just need to control its loans. To grasp this downfall, let's examine the Ottoman Empire around the mid-1800s. From afar, it seemed an unbreakable giant, spanning from Europe's Balkans through Anatolia's peaks to the sacred sites of Mecca and Medina and into North Africa's sands. The Sultan in Constantinople governed vast populations and held sway over global trade routes. But under this veneer of grandeur, decay festered. The realm suffered from economic malaise. As Britain and France surged ahead with industrialization, erecting factories, locomotives, and mills, the Ottoman system lingered in a feudal, farm-based era. It pitted farmers and artisans against mechanized rivals. The royal coffers were perpetually depleted. Taxation was outdated and flawed, with dishonest regional agents skimming much of the funds before they arrived in the capital. For generations, Ottomans had patched budget gaps by diluting their money or seizing assets from affluent nobles. But in this new age, such antiquated tactics failed. Survival demanded investment, a contemporary military to fend off the aggressive Russian Tsardom up north, plus highways and communication lines. They aspire to emulate Europe's modern facade, sultans long shunned Western loans due to cultural and faith-based disdain for interest, coupled with dread of reliance on Christian nations. However, in 1853, barriers crumbled. Russia assaulted Ottoman lands, igniting the Crimean War, a vast struggle the Ottomans couldn't fund solo. Britain and France, alarmed by Russian growth, allied with the Turks, dispatching troops and ships to the Black Sea, and financiers too. The conflict drained the Ottoman reserves of gold liras they lacked. Troops required wages, weapons needed forging, vessels demanded supplies. Sultan Abdul-Mejid was in dire straits. His counselors insisted, to preserve the domain, defy tradition and borrow. In 1854, the empire inked its debut overseas loan with British and French lenders. Framed as aid from comrades against a shared foe, it was truly the initial link in gilded chains. The conditions were exploitative. Aware of the Ottomans' shaky credit, bankers exacted harsh terms. The bond issued at 80, so for each £100 owed, only £80 reached the Sultan, the rest pocketed as fees and buffers. Yet, interest accrued on the full sum. This foundational error in Ottoman economics meant borrowing at exorbitant effective rates while getting far less upfront. The influx to Constantinople seemed miraculous. Armies got funded, disaster dodged. Russia retreated by 1856, leaving the Sultan euphoric and empowered. He'd unlocked a sorcery, a mere signature in London conjured riches. Peace returned, but debt spiraled. The Sultan and nobility savored effortless credit and grew hooked. Envying the illuminated streets and grand theaters of London and Paris, they yearned to elevate Constantinople, shedding the sick man of Europe label. Spending ensued, but not on productive ventures like mills, canals, or schooling that could yield profits. Instead on ostentation, chiefly the Dolmabahce Palace. Sultan Abdul-Mejid deemed the ancient Topkapi Palace, ancestral seat for 4 centuries, too archaic and oriental. He craved a rival to Versailles, one to eclipse Queen Victoria's splendor. Thus arose a colossal structure along the Bosphorus. Dolmabahce boasts lavish excess, 14 tons of gold gilding, the globe's biggest crystal chandelier, a British present, baccarat crystal stairs, silk rugs and Italian marble walls. Stunning, yet it marked a grave. Funded wholly by loans, while Anatolian farmers toiled with primitive tools, the Sultan imported luxuries from Bohemia and France for an unaffordable abode. Its price tag, 5 million Ottoman gold liras, equaling a fourth of annual taxes. To finance it, loans piled up in 1855, 1858, 1860. London and Paris lenders eagerly obliged, reaping commissions and steep rates, betting on the empire's strategic value, ensuring bailouts from their governments. This bred moral hazard, risks taken assuming state rescues. By the 1860s, Ottoman finances devolved into a pyramid fraud. Revenues couldn't cover old interest, necessitating fresh loans to service prior ones. A deepening pit. Debt servicing devoured the budget, from about 15% in 1860 to over 50% by 1870. Half of every lira from a Greek angler or Syrian tiller fled to bondholders abroad. No funds remained for defense, education, or development. The state eroded internally. To bridge gaps, officials turned to Istanbul's Galata moneylenders, mainly Greek and Armenian clans. These acted as high-interest predators, charging 18 to 20% or more for short-term advances until European funds arrived. Fiscal self-destruction. Sultan Abdulaziz, succeeding his sibling, harbored grand ambitions and a passion for armaments. Beyond palaces, he forged a fleet, coveting Britain's naval prowess. He commissioned ironclads from UK yards and advanced guns from Germany. Briefly, the Ottoman Navy ranked third globally, but it was illusory, unaffordable to operate or upkeep. Vessels corroded in harbors for lack of fuel, mere hulks of liability. Crisis peaked in 1873. A Vienna panic triggered the Long Depression worldwide, freezing capital flows. European banks pinched themselves, halted loans. Simultaneously, drought ravaged Anatolia in 1873 to 74. Harvests withered, livestock perished, famine loomed. Tax yields plummeted amid starving villagers, yet debt demands persisted. In 1875, Grand Vizier Mahmud Nadim Pasha scanned the books and saw ruin. Coffers bare, a huge October payout loomed for European creditors. No money existed. Loan pleas fell flat, markets shunned the sick man, starve subjects or halt payments. On October 6, 1875, a decree stunned Europe's markets. The Ramadan Edict slashed obligations by half, 50% cash, 50% in low-yield scrip. Diplomatically, a pause. Financially, bankruptcy. Europe erupted in rage. Ordinary investors in Britain and France, lured by yields, lost fortunes. Press branded Turks as cheats. Anglo-French backing against Russia vanished. This vulnerability lured predators. Russia, eyeing the weakened Sultan, invaded in 1877. The Russo-Turkish War crushed the Ottomans. Valiant but starved troops crumbled. Russians neared Constantinople's spires. Peace ceded swaths of Balkans and Caucasus, plus a crushing indemnity, over 800 million francs to Russia. Now debts dwarfed the economy, insolvency absolute, defenses shattered, pride broken. Sultan Abdul Hamid II, enthroned amid turmoil, awaited partition. But Britain and France opted for subtlety over conquest, too costly and cumbersome. Instead, financial domination, harvest revenues without ruling masses. In 1881, creditor envoys arrived, not commanders but clerks with portfolios. They demanded not territory but income streams. The Muharrem decree sealed Ottoman autonomy's end, birthing the debt vortex. It birthed the Ottoman Public Debt Administration, OPDA, a novel imperial tool, a creditor-run entity with directors from Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Austria. Its Istanbul bastion symbolized true power. The edict ceded prime revenues, silk, salt, fisheries, alcohol, tobacco taxes, and stamp fees, all to OPDA. Deeming the Sultan unfit for collection, it assumed control, deploying 5,000 armed agents loyal to the board. They scoured from Macedonian heights to Syrian shores, extracting wealth. A Bosphorus catch funded London, Bursa silk paid Paris, salt taxes bolstered Berlin. A parallel regime, OPDA modernized efficiently. Warehouses, mine upgrades, better silkworm stocks, boosting output for lenders, not locals. From 1881 to 1914, it claimed a third of imperial income. 1 in 3 liras exported, leaving the state starved, unable to fund progress, locked in poverty. The Sultan turned figurehead. OPDA wielded authority. Projects needed banker nods, rarely granted. Beyond extraction, it warped policy, inviting Germany. While Anglo-French drained funds, Kaiser Wilhelm II courted the Sultan, decrying parasites and offering partnership. Germany pitched the Berlin-Baghdad Railway, rails linking Europe to Mideast oil, skirting Suez. For the Sultan, salvation, troop mobility, growth, alliance. Funding? German loans. Deutsche Bank fronted cash, but terms gouged, per-mile profit guarantees, plus oil mineral rights along tracks. British chains traded for German bonds. By 1910, Ottomans were German vassals. Officers drilled troops, engineers drove trains, banks held debt. Anglo-French seethed at lost sway, fueling pre-WWII tensions. Young Turks, seizing power, sought escape from Obda's grip. War's outbreak prompted alliance with Germany. Victory could erase Anglo-French debts, dissolve OPDA, reclaim freedom. Declaring war, they ousted OPDA's foreign heads, halted payments, fleeting liberty. But defeat dismantled the empire, yet debts endured. At 1923's Lausanne Treaty, post-independence under Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, victors insisted Turkey shoulder Ottoman liabilities as heir. Ataturk relented for global integration, restructuring payments. War-torn Turkey paid for decades. Final installment, May 25, 1954. A century's penance. The Ottoman saga warns of fiscal bondage's perils. They sought borrowed progress, mimicking power's trappings. Unaware, funds bind, loans tether, bonds shackle. Anglo-French subdued without troops, interest compounded the conquest. Empires fall not just to assaults, but unpayable credit. Europe's invalid wasn't aged out. He was repossessed. His legacy in crimson accounts, true independence demands fiscal health. Debt unowned owns you. This is Cinematic History Dives. Hit subscribe to get ahead. When chronicles unfold, be the insightful few who foresaw them.